So in session one, what we had covered was the introduction to data analytics, the distinction between data versus information, crisp DM framework. Now we come to something like data sources, and we'll take it up from there. When we are doing data sources, we will also learn as to how the things are going to be, studied by us from the point of view of a data scientist, from the point of view of a data analyst, and you'll be surprised to know that these are different things which are there. They are not one and the same. So analytics is basically of different types also that you are going to study. So data sources, basically data is available as we have seen in the first session. We can have data which is in the structured form, unstructured form, semi-structured form. It may be in the form of text, it may be in the form of videos, it may be in the form of images, uh, Internet of Things, and so on and so forth. So when you're actually working with such a complex set of data, the first thing that is to be done by you is to pull a copy of the data that you require from the original sources from where you have collected that data. Okay, from where you have collected that data from the original source, maybe from the website, different websites. So when you have collected that, so much of data is there, you have to pull out from that entire chunk of data a copy of the data which you require and transfer it into something called as a data repository. Now, last time we had also done a small concept on data repository. So what is a data repository actually? It is a sort of a data library that you are having, which is either in the form of a library or you can have it in the form of a data archive. Okay, it may be referred to large database management systems like what we call as DBMS, or several databases that collect the data, the manage that data, store the data, which is sensitive for the company, for the business. Okay, and then share it with those who require it, and again, store the data in its original form. So authorized users, when I say authorized users, those people who are entitled to the access of the data. They will be using the data, they will be retrieving the data from this data warehouses which are there for their purpose, for their queries, and they will be utilizing this for the purpose of maybe research, for the purpose of decision making. It gives a complete and unified view of the data. Okay, by combining data from different sources and collecting and putting it together and integrating the data. Okay, so data can be stored, and we have different types of storehouses or warehouses or repositories as they are called. The first one is called as data warehouse. The second one is data lake. Third one is data mart. So you can have different types of data repositories, and we can have data queue. So all these are different ways in which we can store the data. These are different sources where we can store the data or archive the data, right? So these are some of the initial things that we have to do. That is, from the data that is collected by us, which is a huge set of data, we have to pull out that data which is required by us for our company analysis, and transfer them and store them safely in what is called as a data repository. At this stage, that is the initial stage, the first stage, you are working with the data that you require, the data formats that you want, sources and interfaces through which this data can be pulled. So you are looking at and concentrating only on that type of data, only on that type of the information that you want, which is required for your business, which is required for your decision making process. Okay, but there will be some challenges that you are going to face. The challenges may be in the form of reliability of data, whether the source from which you have got the data is reliable source or not. Then security of the data, integrity of the data. Okay, so first step is to collect the data. Second step is, out of the collected data, sort out and filter the data that you require and first put it into a data repository. Once the data, the raw data is collected and put in a repository, it needs to be organized, it needs to be cleaned up, it needs to be optimized for access and conform to appliances. So you have a lot of maybe rules and regulations. So standards may be there which you have to enforce. So compliance with those rules and regulations, compliance with those standards which are to be followed within the organization. So for example, conforming to certain guidelines in relation to storage of data, use of personal data, like health, biometrics, these are very sensitive piece of information, household data. So all these things have to be done very systematically because it is sensitive information sometimes. Now, if you're going for a company form of organization and you are looking at data regarding the sales of the company for the last 3 years or last 5 years. Now, who requires the data for sales? Data for sales will be required by marketing department right now. Abhi finance department does not require the data regarding the sales. कि कितना revenue मिला है, कितना how many units of goods are sold, what was the demand, how the packaging is done. ये सब finance department का domain नहीं है. So, what is required for which department? Which department can have access to certain information? Finance related information. For example, company has taken a loan from bank. Company has issued some shares. Okay. Company has issued some bonds, some debentures. तो ये सब फाइनेंस रिलेटेड है. इसका मार्केटिंग डिपार्टमेंट से कुछ लेना देना नहीं. So what we have to do is, even when we are storing the data, when data is being retrieved from that particular storage, that is a warehouse, everybody cannot have access to all information. So a finance related person need not have access to the number of units sold each month. उसका उससे कुछ लेना देना नहीं. Marketing department does not have anything to do with the loan that the company has taken or how the company is raising its finance. So we have to format the data and ensure that proper security is there, so that those who are retrieving the data are only those persons who are having actual access to the information that they want for their purpose, for their department. So we have to prepare what is called as master data tables within the organization to ensure the standardization of master data across all applications and systems in the organization. Okay, so some of the challenges may be data management, working with the data repositories that provide high availability, flexibility, accessibility, security. Okay, so this is the first step that we have to do. What are master data tables? Can you tell me what are master data tables? What are master data tables? Anyone? They are fundamental components in a database that store critical business information. It's related to database, data store also. It is something which is, as I told you, master data tables. So they are fundamental components in a database that store critical information about the business. This type of data is often referred to as master data, and it is required for taking important decisions within the company. Okay, so what are the characteristics of the master data tables? First is core business entities. I'll just write down. Master data tables. So what are the characteristics? What are the characteristics? First one is that core business entities. Core business entities. Can you see my Excel? Are you able to see my Excel?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. Please make notes because as I told you at the end of the sessions, I will be giving you a small test and it will be from this only. Core business entities, master data tables contain data, which is about the primary entities that are essential for business operations. Examples include the customers who are the integral part of every business, whatever the nature of the business may be. Then the products, okay, products which you are manufacturing and selling, the suppliers of the business, the employees' data, and the locations of your businesses. You may be having different branches, okay? You may be having your goods stored at different locations, the locations of those particular warehouses. Fine. So that is the first part. Second, stability. Stability in the sense master data is supposed to be relatively stable compared to transactional data. It does not change frequently. So I may sell goods to one customer, but he may buy in different quantities. He may buy in different quantities. So in every transaction with the customer, my number of units sold may not be the same. Okay, so data regarding a particular customer in relation to transactions may have different quantities sold, may have different rates at which I have sold. In some cases, I've given him discount. Some cases, I've not given him discount. Some cases, the price has been increased. So the transactional data is likely to change. But this master data that is there cannot change. It does not change frequently. It may change over a period of time, but it does not change frequently. But it is critical. As I told you, it is a foundation. It is critical for ensuring the accuracy and consistency of the transactional data. Okay, that is the second point, that is stability. Third point is uniqueness. Third point is uniqueness. Every entry that is made, every entry that is made in a master data table typically has a unique identifier. Identifier means there will be, for example, a customer ID, okay, an employee ID, a product code, raw materials, and different types of raw materials may be there used by a company, right? But every raw material is never referred to by its name. It's always given a code number. So it's referred to by the code, right? So coding of the product code, customer ID, to ensure that there is no duplication of the same things being written over and over again. So every item that comes in the master data file is supposed to be unique in nature because it has got a unique identification, right? Every customer has got a unique customer ID. Every product that you are manufacturing has got a separate product code. Every material that you are using has got a different source code, right? So that is the uniqueness of the master data. So everything, all the details regarding that, employees are having their employee number, right? So if you are going to a country like say America, you are having a social security number, SSN, right? So you are identified, anything happens, you are identified by your social security number. So you are unique. There cannot be two persons with the same identity, right? So for that purpose, we maintain the uniqueness in the system, right? Last point, that is the fourth point here. Fourth point is regarding the integration. Integration. Fine. So integration means what? What are we referring to when I'm saying integration? Integration means master data tables are often integrated across different systems and procedures within an organization. It is the pool where all the information lies. It is a single source of all the data of the business. Everything pertaining to the entity, who are the customers, who are the suppliers, who are the employees, right? So all the data, what are the different types of products manufactured, where are the different branches of the company, where are the different warehouses of the company, all this data is collected and stored at one single place, at one single master data tables. So this is what we have as master data tables. So we can have the classification there also, like we can have a customer table, we can have a product table, we can have a suppliers table, we can have employees table, we can have a location table. So these are the different categories that we can classify the master data table. Okay. So what are the, you can say, what is the importance of the master data tables? Data consistency, data quality, efficiency, compliance. Okay. So like this, we can have master data tables. So coming back to what we were doing, we were saying that we have to adhere to certain rules and regulations. We have to adhere to certain procedures of the entities of the organization. We should have standardization of the data. That means everything should be in a proper format. Okay. So that is sometimes also a challenge for the data analyst. Okay. Finally, we have to address the requirements of business stakeholders, applications, programmers, analysts, data analysts, and also those who are working with the data for the purpose of decision making. Okay, so that is the most important thing. Second thing that we are going to do now, this is the data sources. Second thing that I will be touching upon is what we are going to refer to as emerging technologies. Okay, emerging technologies, though most of them have already emerged. They are already there in the system. So what are the emerging technologies? We can have cloud computing, data scientists creating some machine learning predictive models, big data, concept of big data. So these are all the emerging technologies shaping the modern data ecosystem. So cloud computing, machine learning, big data. Cloud computing, for instance, has led to every enterprise today having access to limitless storage space, high performance computing, open source technologies, machine learning technologies, and the latest tools and libraries. Okay. Data scientists are creating predictive models by training machines with the machine learning algorithms on the past data. That how does a machine work? How does a robot work? A robot works by feeding it with certain algorithms, which is based on past data. That is why you will find that a computer works only how it is programmed. A machine will work how it is instructed to work. Okay, that is with the help of machine learning technology. Then we have big data that is dealing with the large, huge volumes of data sets that are so massive in nature, so varied in nature, that it is difficult to handle such data until and unless we are having new tools and techniques, okay, to handle such big data, right? Who are the key players in the data ecosystem? Let us talk about that also. Key players in the data ecosystem. Okay. So key players in the data ecosystem today, organizations are making use of data to uncover opportunities and applying that knowledge to differentiate themselves from their competitors. Okay. And identifying patterns in financial transactions to detect fraud. So where the fraud is taking place. So what is the nature of the organization? How does the transaction take place in an organization? How does the organization receive cash? How is the cash collected by the organization's collection department? Where it is the cash immediately deposited into the bank? Is the cash kept with the organization for a long period of time? Because that will lead to frauds. So identifying patterns in the financial transactions. Second, using recommendation engines to drive the conversion. Third, mining social media posts for customer voice. Where is the demand of the customer going towards? Has the customer started liking the new product of the company? Analyzing the behavior of pattern of the customers, okay, for personalizing offers or customizing offers. So all this is done, but now we have data professionals who are the key players in the data ecosystem. These data professionals can be classified into different categories. And I suppose you know all those categories. Can you tell me 4 to 5 data professionals, 4 to 5 data professionals who are the key players in the data ecosystem? Think. I give you time to think. सोच के बोलो. 4 to 5 data professionals who are the key players in this entire thing. Yes, not a single, not a single player that you can think of.
Sir, data analyst.
Okay, data analyst, then
Data engineer.
data engineers. Okay, fine.
Data scientist,
Data scientists, fine.
machine learning and AI,
Business analytics.
Business analytics, okay. Business analyst, okay.
Data collectors.
Data collectors, ऐसा कोई है क्या? Data collection is done by some professional. Data collectors करके ऐसा एक ग्रुप नहीं है.
Database administrator. Database administrator.
Database administrator. That is a role, not a profession.
Decision maker.
So we can say data engineers, the first one. Let us go in the order. I have an order that I have to follow. Okay. So I'll tell you why the order is being followed. So the first that I'm going to do in this particular thing, we have to see as to what is the first step. What is the first step in data collection? Is collecting the data, getting the data, cleaning the data, and so on and so forth. So that is done by data engineers. Let us go in order. Okay. Second, can you tell me after data engineers whose role comes? It is data analyst. Okay. After data analyst, normally what will come? Data scientists. After data scientists, what will come? Business analysts. And after that, we can say along with them, along with the business analysts, we have business intelligence analyst. Business intelligence analyst. Actually, they are both working together, business analyst and business intelligence analyst. So let us look upon each one of them, starting with data engineers. Okay, the first role is data engineers. Data engineers, we will also try to get an idea as to what is the skill set required by each one of them. Okay, because each one requires a different skill set. So we said now that professional qualification will take you to the door of the recruiter. But after that, it all depends upon your skill set. So what are the skill sets which are required for different positions? Let us see. First of all, who are basically data engineers? Data engineers are those people who develop and maintain data architectures, framework, and make data available for business operations and analysis. So what is the role of a data engineer? A data engineer is one who develops and maintains the data architecture and makes the data available for business operations and for business analysis. These data engineers, they work within the data ecosystem. What is their role? What is their job? Extraction of data, integration of data, organization of data from disparate sources. That means from different sources, from various sources. Collection of data, you can say, in other words, collection of data. But that collection also is divided into extraction, collection, integration, finding out the relationship, integration, and organizing the data in a particular format from different sources. First step. Second step, cleaning of the data, transformation of the data, and preparation of the data so that it can be used for analysis. Before it is used for analysis, we have to see if the data is in such a form that we can connect this to some data models. Last time we had done data models. So whether we can connect it to some data models. So prepare the data in such a format. So cleaning, transformation, and preparing the data. That is second step. Third step, designing, storing, and managing the data in data repositories. So this is the function of data engineers. So you can say in general collection, but collection doesn't mean only one particular thing, that is collecting data from various sources. But collection involves extraction of data, integration of data, organizing data from different sources, first step. Second step, whatever data has been collected, cleaning the data, transforming out the data, and preparing the data for use. And third step, designing from where it is going to be used in the repository. So designing, storage, and managing of data in the data repositories. Fine. So this is their function. अभी skill sets क्या चाहिए for a data engineer? What is he supposed to? What knowledge is he supposed to possess? We can say that he should possess, number one, good knowledge of programming. See, when you are going after your, data analytics course, if if you're going, at the end we ask you, कि भाई कौन से role में जाना चाहते हो? Data engineer, data analyst, so that accordingly we can prepare you for that. Because see, data analytics is a subject, is a course. But when you are going, you have to know in what role, in what capacity you are going. Because every role has got a defined boundary. Beyond that, it's not your doing. So if you're going as a data engineer, this is what you're expected to do. Normally people don't understand the difference. वो सबको एक ही समझते हैं, data analyst. Common word is data analyst. Lekin data analyst himself is a different domain from data engineer. So data engineer should possess what type of skills? Programming language, knowledge of programming. Second, sound knowledge of all the systems and technology architectures, frameworks. Third, in-depth understanding of relational database and non-relational database. So this is what is expected if you are going in the role of a data engineer. So you should be having good knowledge of programming languages, sound knowledge of systems, okay, and technological architectures, frameworks, in-depth understanding of relational and non-relational databases. This is the role of data engineer. Second is data analyst. Right? In my list, I've got second, data analyst. A data analyst translates the data that is collected, the data that has been cleaned, the data that has been arranged. And some of the data may be in figures. Some of the data may be in the form of images. All those things, analyst will analyze into plain language so that organizations can make decisions. Because a person sitting as a director in the board of directors, he may not be having knowledge of data analytics. He may be an engineer, a production engineer. He may be a finance specialist, an MBA in finance. So he does not actually understand what these numbers mean. So you have to explain to him. You have to put it in simple language so that they can understand what those figures depict, what those figures mean for the business, and they can take decisions. So the responsibility of a data analyst includes inspection of data and cleaning of data for the purpose of deriving insights, for understanding the data in more detail, for getting the interpretation. Insights means what? Interpretation, reading between the lines, getting the interpretation of the data. For example, you find that revenue is $5 million, $7 million, $10 million. So you say, hey, these are not just figures. These are showing the trend, an increasing trend. So that is what you are developing an insight into the figures that are given. You are putting life into those figures. You are putting meaning into those figures. Right? They are just not numbers 5, 7, and $10 million. There is an interpretation for that. You will say that, okay, revenue has been increasing over the last 3 years. Revenue has been increasing. What has happened to the cost? Is the cost increasing in the same proportion? Or is the cost increasing but more than proportionately? So what is the correlation between the increase in the cost and in the increase in the revenue? What is the correlation between inflation and your cost of production? Finding the correlations, finding the patterns, applying statistical methods. How will you find correlation? Correlation regression. वो statistics का topic है. So until unless you know statistics, you will not be able to bring out the relationship between variables. Certain variables are fixed, certain variables are variable, changing. Right? So you have to apply statistical methods to analyze and interpret data. This is called as data mining. Interpret data, get out the meaning out of that. Bring out insights into what the data is trying to tell you. Data speaks to you. Data speaks to you. Then after that, sometimes even that does not help. in taking decisions, because no, if you just put figures on the board and you say it is increasing, okay, figures 5 to 7, 7 to 10 increase हो रहा है, understandable. But a better presentation of that data in the form of visualizing data to interpret and present the findings of data analytics with the help of graphs, with the help of charts, right? So visualization of data, that is done by data analyst. So analysts are those persons who answer questions like, will the customers buy more of my products in the next month? Will I lose out some customers? What is the popular perception of the people regarding our company's products? Is there a correlation between a new supplier coming into the market and my product sales? Has it affected my sales? Correlation. तो ये सब कौन करेगा? ये सब करेगा डेटा एनालिस्ट, नॉट अ डेटा इंजीनियर. डेटा इंजीनियर का काम हो गया, रिपोजिटरीज में रखा, मैनेज कर रहा है the data in the repositories, cleaning the data, security of data, engineer का काम. Analyzing the data that is collected, bringing out the meaning in that is the job of a data analyst. Right? What are the skill sets that a data analyst requires? The first thing that should come to your mind, ये सब analysis करने के लिए Excel चाहिए. ये सब analysis करने के लिए statistics चाहिए. Correct. So, and visualization के लिए, explaining the graphs, explaining the figures, explaining and bringing out the insights into the data. Storytelling capacity. This is also one of the things that you need to have. Storytelling capacity. So, good knowledge of spreadsheets. That is your Excel sheet or whatever it is. Good knowledge of spreadsheets. Good knowledge of statistical tools which are required to create charts and dashboards. Then analysts require a little bit of programming knowledge also. But more of that is required by data engineers. That this fellow also should know programming languages, fair knowledge of programming languages, strong analytical skill, because he has to derive the meaning of those figures, the meaning of the patterns, visualize them in the form of groups and charts, visualize them and tell stories regarding what the data predicts, what the data depicts. Right? Storytelling skill. किसको आना चाहिए? Not a data engineer, data analyst. So you see that depending upon what role you are asked, see, we don't, when we are looking for a job, you must have seen this, even your seniors doing it. You don't understand कि data analytics में ये सब distinction है. Only when you go to a company and you are actually working in a company, you understand कि इसका difference क्या है. Say I have done data analytics में, अच्छा data word आ गया, data scientist है, data engineer है, data analyst है. So what role you are asked to perform in the company, and then match your skills with that. Because sometimes I may not be a very good storyteller, I may not be good as an analyst. In that case, I should not take up data analyst job. Maybe I'm a good data engineer. I can help in cleaning the data. I can help in framing architectures. I can help in storage of data. But I may not be a good analyst. I may not be a good interpreter. समझो मेरा जो communication skills है वो थोड़ा weak है. I am not outspoken. Professionals are normally required to be outspoken, having good communication skills, doctors, lawyers, teachers. We are supposed to be communicators. समझो मेरा लेक्चर में मैं बहुत ही कम बात करता हूं, तो लेक्चर कैसे चलेगा? तो I have to communicate. Doctor has to communicate. After examining a patient, doctor has to communicate कि what is the problem. अगर एग्जामिनेशन के बाद, पेशेंट के एग्जामिनेशन के बाद अगर डॉक्टर चुप रहता है तो there is chaos. The doctor is silent after seeing my medical reports. That means something is really dangerous. Silence also has got a meaning in different professions. Communication skills, if I don't have, I can't be a data analyst. I should be talkative. I should be able to explain. See, wrong and right, that is a different thing. Wrong and right is a different thing. But you should be able to at least communicate. What is coming into your head, that you should be able to speak out. That is why I said that when we are doing the sessions and internship में, I'm going to see and evaluate you on the basis of your communication. मैं कुछ भी सवाल करता हूँ क्लास में, how many people respond? I want to know that and I will see who's answering. Because I want this communication skill to grow. You had I think you were there for the skill sessions, right? जब soft skills का lecture हुआ था, you were there ना? Yes or no?
No, sir.
You are there. So that means
सर एलएमएनआई वाले सेशन में थे।
कौन से सेशन में?
Alumni वाली sir.
Alumni में. Okay. Were you not there for soft skills?
नो सर, वैसा कोई सेशन नहीं हुआ अभी
ऐसा
तक।
session हुआ नहीं. Okay, we will be having a session then, because we normally have a session with all our students. One session is there normally for soft skills, because there we teach you what is the importance of communication, presentation, when you're going for interview, how you should be appearing. Like you should be looking confident when you're going for an interview. You should be looking confident. So how to have that confident appearance, how to speak, how not to speak, all that is important. Right? So communication is very important for professionals. Data analysts के लिए, professionals के लिए, it is very important that data analyst speaks. Without his speaking, he cannot be a data analyst. Right? So data engine is हो गया, data analyst हो गया. Let us come to data scientists. Data scientists are required for what purpose? Data scientists are required for analyzing whatever data has been analyzed and insights have been given. Those insights will be checked for actionable purpose, and they will build machine learning or deep learning models. So creation of models is not the job of the data analyst. Building up machine learning models, deep learning models that train on the past data to create predictive models, that is the role of a data scientist. So data scientist is not going to explain to you what the figures depict. What is the trend? They are not going to explain the diagrams and charts to you. That is the role of data analyst. But from the data that has been collected, analyzed and given to you, with the insights, you will be trying to find out what possible actions can be taken, what possible decisions can be taken on the basis of those particular insights, and help in building machine learning and deep learning models, predictive models. So data scientists are likely to answer questions like, how many social media followers am I likely to get next month? Prediction. Okay. So this is normally what is expected of a data scientist. It is not really analyzing the past data. It is not historical data. See, I may ask you a question ki, historical data is required by data scientists or by data analysts. Historical data is required by data analyst for analyzing what has happened in the past. Based on that, he may give you some insights. He may throw some light. He may give you some idea, but those ideas will be converted into decision-making predictive models by data scientists. Right? So now for data scientists, what are the skill sets required? Prediction, hypothesis, prediction, regression equation, y is equal to a plus bx. तो मैथमेटिक्स एंड स्टैटिस्टिक्स तो आना ही आना है उसको. As usual, like all other people, you should be having a fair knowledge of programming languages, databases, but you should have an excellent knowledge in building data models, excellent knowledge of algorithm building, domain knowledge. Without that, they cannot function. They cannot build models. Right? So these are data scientists. Then we have the last two, business analyst and business intelligence analyst. ये दो जो है, they are actually, you can say that both of them perform the same activity, but with a small difference. Business analyst जो है, they supplement the work of data analyst. Analyst दोनों same करते हैं. They help the data analyst. They help the data scientist. What do? They help the data scientists and the data analysts in understanding possible implications of those interpretations for their internal management purpose. For their internal management purpose. Data scientist और data analyst जो है, उसने data को analyze किया है. But a business analyst will try to understand and bring out the correlation between what is the relation between that data analysis and how it is applicable to my existing business. Recommendations as to what steps need to be taken. Suppose there is a downfall in the revenue. What steps need to be taken? Suggestions are given, recommendations are given, actions. Business analyst. Business intelligence analyst जो है, goes one step ahead. And he tries to focus on market forces, external forces. Business analyst will look at the internal forces. Business intelligence analyst will look at the market forces, the external forces, and their influence on the business. By removing intelligence solutions, business intelligence solutions, by organizing and monitoring the data on different business functions. Competitors, if they enter the market, how it is going to affect my business? Now there is a West Asia war, how it is going to impact my business? Suppose tomorrow the government has, announced of levying some import duty on import of certain raw materials that my company is using. How it is going to affect my business? External factors ka impact on business aspects. That is what the business intelligence analyst does. Clear? Anything that is difficult here? Have you understood all these 5 people? Key players in the data ecosystem. Have you made notes on them? Short में notes बनाओ, बाकी if you can, if you are having time and if you are interested, you can, when you are not having anything else to do, you can sit down and write details on this. somewhere or the other it will be useful for you. Anything that you have not understood, anything that you want me to explain again. All clear? Okay. Let us continue. Next thing that will come to is key aspects of data analytics. So we'll discuss these 5 points. Shall we start? Some key aspects of data analytics. First point is process. Process involves collecting the data, the process of data analytics. Collecting the data, cleaning the data, organizing the data, analyzing the data, visualizing the data. Now, once you have seen key, what are the different roles that are available, you have seen it in the same format. Barabar. So we started with data engineer. So uska role kya tha? Collection of data, cleaning of data, organizing data. Then we had data analyst. Then we had data scientist. So like that, the process involves a few steps. Okay. So collection of data, cleaning of data, organization of data, analyzing of data, visualization of data. That together is the total process of data analytics. Right? Second is goal, objective. What is the goal? The goal or the objective is to find the patterns, trends, correlations, and insights into the data to support strategic decision making on the part of the business. Predict the outcomes, predictive analysis. Okay, so the process is starting with collection of data, cleaning of data, organization of data, analyzing data, and then visualization of data. What is the objective? The objective is to find trends, patterns, correlations, and meaning of data, interpretation of data to support strategic business decisions. Third one, techniques. What techniques we are going to make use of? Statistical techniques. Data mining, statistical techniques, data mining, machine learning, text analytics, data visualization, when we are preparing charts, dashboards, etc. Data visualization. These are the techniques used. Okay. What is the scope? Scope ranges from basic business intelligence, reporting to advanced predictive modeling. That means prediction of predictive models, creation of the predictive models. That is the scope. So it starts with business intelligence, reports to advanced predictive modeling. And finally, what is the importance of data analytics? The importance of data analytics, it extracts value from raw data, helps to understand customer behavior, optimize the business operations, detection of frauds and errors, and promoting innovation. This is the importance of data analytics. Okay, so you have got the main aspects of data analytics. Now let us try to see the different types of data analysis. So the next thing that we are going to touch upon is different types of data analysis. Here also, let us go in the order. The first is descriptive analysis. If you go in the order now, there is no way that you can miss out anything. Descriptive analysis, second is diagnostic analysis. Okay. Third one is predictive analysis. Fourth one, descriptive analysis. Okay. Four types of data analysis. So let us start with the first one. We can call them as analysis or analytics, either way. I can use the word analytics also. Okay. So where I've written analysis, I can use the word analytics also. Actually, there is a technical difference between analysis and analytics, but we don't want to go into the depth of that because that is irrelevant for our purpose now in the internship, right? There is a small difference between analysis and analytics. So let us start with descriptive analytics. Descriptive analytics basically deals with past data, historical data, past data. Okay. It will help you to answer questions like what happened in the past over a given period of time. Collection of past data, presenting the finding of the past data to the existing stakeholders, whosoever it is, providing insights into the past events. Example. Suppose now we do analysis of what happened during COVID period, 2020. See how years have passed, how years have flied, how time has flied. 2020, we were having the pandemic. Everybody was down. Whole world came to a standstill. Many people got the virus. They took the vaccination, recovered. Many people were not so fortunate. They did not get the vaccination. They were admitted to hospital. Some of them survived, some of them did not survive. Many of them did not contract the virus at all, did not get the virus at all. Survived. Many of them did not get the virus at all, but did not survive. So what happened in 2020? 2020 में क्या हुआ? How many of the people were infected? How many of the people were treated? How many of the people who were treated recovered? How many of the treated people did not recover? Expired. This analytics that you are doing, I have got the data of COVID patients in 2020 in USA. And that shows the total breakup. Which particular state, which particular city of USA, how many people were diagnosed, how many people were hospitalized, how many people recovered, how many people did not recover. सब आ गया, सब data है मेरे पास. And if I start doing analysis of that, it will give me different results. That what I am doing of the past and trying to bring out some insights, that is descriptive analytics. I'm describing what has happened in the past with the historical data. Second, diagnostic data analytics. Diagnosis, investigation, you have fever, diagnosis करना है. What the doctor will say, चलो blood test करके आ जाओ. Let us see what has happened. Whether it is just fever or you are having some malaria or something like that. So diagnostic analytics is analytics which is actually diagnosing or trying to find out, investigating as to why it happened. Okay, why did this happen? So diagnosis is finding out the meaning. It takes the insights from the descriptive analytics. What happened? Now we are trying to find out what happened, why did it happen? The cause of that outcome. Okay. For example, if in a particular area or a region, lot of people were affected and they were hospitalized also. Treatment was given to them, but they did not survive. But they did not survive. In that case, we have to find out why did they not survive in spite of hospitalizing them, in spite of giving them the treatment, right? Why did they not survive? So this is very important to find out the reason, that is diagnostic analytics. Okay. Third is predictive analytics. Predictive analytics helps answer the question. Prediction, predictive, prediction. फ्यूचर में क्या होगा, फ्यूचर में क्या होगा, prediction. What will happen in the future? What next? 2020, 2021, we were affected by pandemic. What next? Will this recur again? What are the chances of this recurring? That is predictive analytics. What has happened in the past? Let us say that in the past, we found that revenue was falling for a business. Business ka revenue was falling. It was decreasing. It was falling. The first one, that was the descriptive analysis. Diagnostic analytics में क्या किया हम लोगों ने? Why was the business revenue falling? Why was the sales falling? In spite of efforts taken, in spite of marketing being done, advertising, marketing, और जोरों से किया, लेकिन फिर भी रेवेन्यू कम हुआ, सेल्स गिर गया. So what is the reason for that? Why did it happen? The cause, that is diagnostic analytics. Predictive analytics, आगे क्या होगा? This has happened in the past. Now, what about the future? Is it going to increase? Is the revenue going to increase? Or are we going to see a further decline in the sales? Are we going to have a further decline in the sales? So, in that case, that is called as predictive analytics, predicting the future. Last step, prescriptive analytics. डॉक्टर के पास जाते हो, डायग्नोसिस करता है, ठीक है, he tells you कि चलो भाई ब्लड टेस्ट करके आ जाओ, show me the reports. You go for blood testing. ब्लड टेस्ट करके उसका ब्लड रिपोर्ट्स लेके आते हो. उसके बाद डॉक्टर क्या करता है? प्रिस्क्रिप्शन लिख के देता है कि क्या करना चाहिए. How to treat your fever. Whether it is normal virus, whether it is malaria, whether it is something else, तो उसका ट्रीटमेंट के लिए वो प्रिस्क्रिप्शन देता है. See, it is not difficult. If you connect this, see, data analytics is something which is connected to day-to-day life. If you see everywhere, technology is there, was there, and will be there. So you have to ensure that you look at things around you and try to connect what you are learning with the things around you. See, examples that I'm giving you are day-to-day examples. वो जो एनालिटिक्स का एग्जांपल नहीं है, वो जो टेक्निकल नहीं है. गिविंग यू डे टू डे एग्जांपल्स. डॉक्टर प्रिस्क्रिप्शन लिख के देता है कि what should be done about it, what should be done about the fever, how to treat it. And that will be based on the past decisions, the past trend that has been seen by him, the prediction that has been made, the different likelihood of the things repeating itself. On the basis of that, he will prescribe what to do next, what should be done about it. So the questions that are answered, descriptive analytics means what happened in the past. Diagnostic analytics means why did it happen? What is the cause? What is the reason? Predictive analytics means what will happen in the future? आगे क्या होगा? Prescriptive analytics means what should be done about it? Right? So when these four things are there, we have the complete different types of analytics. Descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, prescriptive. Right? Any difficulty up till here? Anything that you have not understood? Everything clear? Are you liking the lecture? Is it interesting enough?
Yes, sir. Quite interesting.
Next lecture is going to be more interesting because I'm going to take something practical. I told you, data cleaning is going to come. I'm going to take one live practical example of data cleaning. I'll share the data with you, the data set with you, and we will do the data cleaning of that with the help of Power Query. Data cleaning can be done in two ways: with the help of Excel, simple data cleaning, which is a little bit manual, which you have to, literally, it will take some more time as compared to what you will do with Power Query. So making use of Power Query also will be as interesting as that. So you will be learning a lot of new things. You will be learning practical things. And then after that, after the next session, I will be starting with the programming, that is Python. And we'll learn programming with statistics, that is Python with statistics. So I'm telling you in advance so that, if those of you who are really interested, you can just brush up your knowledge of correlation regression. What is the feature of correlation regression? उसका use क्या है? कैसे use करते हैं? Equation कैसे होता है? What are the different terms in that equation? Like for example, y is equal to a plus bx. So a is what? A is the y-intercept. B is what? B is the slope of the equation, the slope of the line. Linear equation hai, right? So like this, you will be getting accustomed to the terms. So, this is what I plan to do. So lectures will be interesting. Practical things will be done. Practical things you will also learn. And I also want you to be actively participating, right? So internships karke, see, internships ka there are two ways of understanding an internship. एक है कि चलो अपने को इंटर्नशिप सर्टिफिकेट मिलने का है, कुछ भी कैसे भी करके अटेंडेंस डालने का है, लॉग इन किया, बैठा, मतलब इट इज लाइक यू आर जस्ट सिटिंग फॉर द सेक ऑफ सिटिंग. बट इफ आई वाज इन योर प्लेस, आई वुड हैव सेड कि कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन फ्री मिल रहा है, आई डोंट हैव टू पे एनीथिंग, आई एम गेटिंग नॉलेज, आई वुड सिट फॉर इट, whatever is there, I would sit for it 1-2 hours, जो भी है. Get that knowledge, because knowledge is never going to be wasted, right? So I do find certain students here today not keeping their cameras on. Since it is my first online session, I have put them out for some time, then again I have admitted them. But from next session, what I'm going to do is, irrespective of what your problem is, because I don't believe that everybody is traveling. 1 or 2 students telling me that they are traveling, we cannot keep our camera on. That is understandable. But everybody gives me the same reason, then that becomes a doubt for me also, because I want to understand whether you are actually plugging in for education purpose or for a time pass. Because those who are not switching on their camera, I don't really believe, because I have experienced this before also, that students are multitasking. Camera login करके कंप्यूटर लॉगिन करके बैठते हो तुम लोग, लेकिन you are doing something else. So my time is not free for that purpose, for just giving you that, time pass ke liye, I am not free. I'm having hell lot of things to do. But since it is internship and data analytics, since it's a topic and subject of my interest also, I would love to share my information and my knowledge to you. If you don't have respect for that, then I will not be giving you attendance, and I will ensure that you are not getting the certificate also. Because if you are not taking the pains to sit and go through the sessions, you should not deserve getting that internship. Because what is going to happen is, once a certificate is given to you, internship certificates, and you go and show that internship certificate to your recruiters, and if you don't know anything that has been done, recruiters are going to ask us what we have done in the internship. Because your reference will come now. Reference जब लिखते हो तो you will be writing ANAlYTICS से internship किया है. And if you show that you are totally ignorant, then we are at fault. So I don't want my name to be misused by any student for reference purpose, saying that internship has been done under Prabodh sir. It's not that way. It's not that easy. If you are doing it, do it sincerely. Otherwise, don't do it. Right? So it is necessary for us to understand the importance of internship. Getting knowledge is the most important thing. All other things will be secondary. Attendance and a certificate and all those things, I would say, they are secondary. The most important thing is getting knowledge and upgrading yourself as far as the subject is concerned, because it is something which is going to be very dynamic for you, and it is something which is going to change at a very rapid pace. So you will not have time also to think as to what are the changes that are happening, because every 3 months, every 6 months, you'll find that things are changing. Right? So it is important for you to get a grasp of all the things that we are learning here and implement them as far as possible, as fast as possible also. Right? So we'll stop here for today. I'll be sharing the notes of this also in case you want to have a proper notes on these particular aspects. I will be sharing the notes also with you of first session, second session. I think I have done the first session का जो तुम लोगों के साथ किया था क्रिस्प डीएम का, उसका पूरा वीडियो मैंने लिंक्डइन पे डाला है. So if I think I've shared the link also with you in your group, so you can, if you are having time, you can just go through that once again. Even this particular session, I will be putting it up on LinkedIn. That is where the
सर
recording
आपने
is.
रिपोर्ट मांगी थी, वो ड्राइव आपने शेयर नहीं किया था.
Share which one?
आपने हम लोग को असाइनमेंट दिया था वो.
Okay, assignment was given to you all in the first session, right? Okay, so I'll share the link of the drive also with you so that you can upload your assignments. Good, you reminded me. It's very good that you reminded me. I'll share the link immediately, right? So I hope you enjoyed the lecture. Next lecture, I would require that compulsorily phone लेके मत आना, क्योंकि उसमें Power Query you will not be able to do. Get your laptops. We'll do on the laptops cleaning of data with the help of Power Query. Okay.
ऑफलाइन सेशन है.
Hmm?
ऑफलाइन सेशन.
Offline नहीं, online ही होगा.
ओके.
Okay. Offline we will tell you in advance. Offline कभी रहेगा करके. But this will be an online session, right? Any questions to ask?
No, sir.
Okay. So I want, I really appreciated when I met you all offline, that this is a lively batch. This is a batch which is talking, which is giving me the feedback. Keep it like that, यार. ऐसा चुपचाप बैठने से कुछ नहीं होता है. Speaking and communicating and talking, it should be a two-way communication between the faculty and the students. You should not feel that, it is an online session. Offline session के जैसे ही लगना चाहिए. And that will happen only when you also speak. When I speak, you also speak, you answer. जैसा class में होता है, वैसे ही discussion होता है. That looks good and that will increase your inquisitivity also. And you will get to learn things much better, right? So we'll stop here for today. Next session, Rajkumar sir will put it in the group, and accordingly we will continue with this, right? But next session may compulsorily you need to have your laptops. Fine. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye, sir.